Abu Sufyan was heading to Mecca from Syria with a caravan containing 500 gold coins and all kinds of goods. However, there was a significant issue. To reach Mecca, he had to pass near Medina, where the Muslims were ready to raid the caravan. Abu Sufyan thought, why not? Wait a minute, Muslims were raiding the caravan? How could Muslims raid a caravan, especially in the month of Ramadan? In reality, right before the Battle of Badr, when the Muslims migrated from Mecca to Medina, they didn't take anything with them except the clothes on their back. People of Mecca, in their anger, sold off everything they had left behind: properties, homes, and belonging. This caravan carried much of the loot taken from the Muslims of Mecca. So the Muslims were not looting but rather seeking to recover what was stolen from them. Abu Sufyan, who was the leader of this caravan, was worried that if he took the usual route, the Muslims wouldn't spare him. So he changed his path and sent a message to Mecca, asking for immediate help. When the messenger reached Mecca, he went to the Kaaba, cut his camel's ears and nose, tore his clothes, and started screaming for help. This was their traditional way of signaling an emergency. Muslim army had already left to intercept the caravan. When Abu Jahl asked the messenger how many Muslims there were, the messenger replied, approximately 300 to 313 men. Abu Jahl said, we'll take 1,000 men. He then asked how many horses the Muslims had, and the messenger replied, almost 2 horses. Abu Jahl responded, we'll take 100 horses. He asked how many camels the Muslims had. The messenger said, around 70 camels. Abu Jahl said, we'll bring more. Meanwhile, Abu Sufyan's caravan avoided the main road and managed to escape the Muslim army. So, there was no need for a battle, since the caravan had been saved. But Abu Jahl declared that even if the caravan was safe, they would not spare the Muslim, because they had 3 men for every Muslim. And so the battle began. Prophet Muhammad commanded his army to set up camp near the first well of Badr. Companion came and asked, O Messenger of Allah, have you chosen this place by Allah's command or based on strategy? Said that they had chosen it based on strategy. Companion suggested that if they moved forward and camped near the wells with more water, they could prevent the enemy from accessing them. Prophet PBUH liked this idea, and the army moved during the night to a new position. The next day, Abu Jahl's army appeared in front of them, 3 times the size of the Muslim army. Utbah, a very wealthy Meccan businessman, along with his brother and son, came forward and challenged the Muslims to fight. 3 Ansar from Medina came forward to face them. But Utbah said, who are these? We want to cut off the heads of our own brothers who rebelled against the religion of our ancestors. Hazrat Hamza, Hazrat Ubaid, and the 24-year-old Hazrat Ali stepped forward. The battle began. Hazrat Ubaid was injured. Utbah, his brother, and his son were all killed. Utbah's son Huzaifa, who was fighting in the Muslim army, witnessed the death of his father, uncle, and cousin, but remained loyal to the Muslims. The Muslims knew that their army was much smaller than the enemy, so they adopted a defensive strategy, saying, we will hold our ground, let them attack us. Abu Jahl then ordered a full-scale assault, thinking it would be over in a few minutes. That wasn't the case. Gradually, for every 1 Muslim, 5 disbelievers were being killed. The disbelievers' army began to retreat and grew tense, thinking, we're 3 times their number, yet we can't even dislodge them from their position. Meanwhile, the Muslims rotated their lines, bringing fresh troops forward. Abu Jahl ordered another full-scale attack. The same thing happened. Disbelievers' that army began retreating again. This time, the Muslims launched a counterattack, and the disbelievers fled in every direction, leaving Badr behind. Abu Jahl was killed. Back in Mecca, everyone was waiting for news of victory because the Quraysh of Mecca had not suffered a significant defeat in over 60 years. Almost 65 years earlier, they had defeated Abraha's army of 600. And because of this, all of Arabia considered the Quraysh their leaders. But now, the Quraysh of Mecca had been defeated by only 313 men. At first, when the people who fled from the battle arrived in Mecca, no one believed them, thinking it was impossible for them to have lost. But slowly, the truth dawned on them. They had not only lost the battle but also their honor in all of Arabia. A famous Western historian writes that before the Battle of Badr, the Arabs viewed Muhammad as a weak man who had been driven out by his own people and was seeking help from others. But after Badr, Muhammad became known throughout Arabia as a king and military genius who had defeated an army